Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Hope you're all having a good day. I'm taking a different route to work today so that you guys can see some more of the scenery, and especially on the highway you'll be able to see how pretty it is. But look at that hill over there, isn't that pretty? Look at how nice and green that is. It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to first of all thank you very much for all of the comments on that last video. Let me tell you what, I learned so much reading comments from you guys that I almost think it's not fair. I think that I am the biggest benefactor from your guys' comments is me, because I do read them all. I don't comment to reply to all of them, but I do read them all whenever I don't have like a crazy amount of comments, right? But I read all these comments from the last video, at least up to yesterday. And I wanted to explain something to you really quick before we start doing a little talk here. And it's that there was a comment on there that I pinned to the top of the comment section. And the reason I put it up there is because I love to see the interaction between community members. And ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. We do not all have to agree with each other on things that are going on. Imagine how boring and how uninteresting this world would be if everyone agreed with everything that everyone said. Imagine how slow innovation would be if we all agreed with each other. There would be no innovation. We need to challenge each other, right? In a proper way. And let me apologize for the little dots that you see on the windshield. That's because there's sap falling from the trees and stuff. So I'm sorry about that. But it's a great thing when we can interact with each other, even though we disagree with each other in one way or another, because that allows us to learn, it allows us to grow, it allows us to innovate. For example, let me bring this up really quick. For example, a lot of people, especially creators on the YouTube platform, do not like that YouTube sometimes takes their videos down, that they shadow ban them, etc. All this kind of stuff, right? Censor them, all that stuff, right? So what happens if everyone was just to agree with what YouTube does? Then we would only have one mentality, right? Oh, everything's great. We're all going to think alike. We are all going to agree with each other. Everything's great. There would be no innovation, no forward movement. So what happens now? If everyone agrees with everyone else and they allow, YouTube to just do whatever they want and not get upset about it or not get worried about it enough to the point where they are not willing to find something new, make it better, innovation and forward progress would be lost. We would be stuck in time. So I love it when people go back and forth, whether they agree with each other or not, because you can always learn from someone else, whether you agree with them or not. So, like I was saying, look at YouTube. Eventually, somebody will come along that has the technical abilities, that has the funding, that has the backing, whatever it is that they need, in order to develop a platform that they think is right. And if the market, i.e. we the people, if we really like that new platform, we will go into it and join it en masse, and it will work out. So it's okay to disagree with each other, as long as we do it in a civil way and respect one another's opinions. We can disagree all we want, and I think that's great. So whenever I pin a comment to like the top of the comment section, I'm not trying to like put you on the spot. I'm not trying to, show you off, so that people can scream at you or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I think that what you have to say is worth listening to and worth conversing about. Okay, so again, thank you very much for all the comments that you guys left behind. One quick thing that I'll cover whenever I read articles like that, especially for those of you that may be new subscribers, that may be new community members here, is that when I read articles like that, it doesn't mean that I agree 100% with that article. a lot of times I read articles from places that I totally disagree with. Believe it or not, I'm subscribed to channels that are on the total opposite side of where I am at, where my ideology is at. Why? Because I like to see how someone that believes something that I don't believe feels about it, so maybe I can learn, right? So again, keep that up. This is what makes this community so great. Not only that we have people that care about each other, but that we are willing to interact with each other even when it's not comfortable to do so, right? So again, thanks for that. I appreciate you guys doing that. So the topic of today, real quick, that I wanted to talk about is that this health crisis that we've just gone through, or are going through, whatever it is that you want to call it, all right, for preppers, this was just a practice run, all right? So don't get complacent. This was just a practice run. For non-preppers, I'm hoping that this was a wake-up call. Now, why am I saying that for preppers, this was just a practice run? Ladies and gentlemen, during this crisis, I really hope that you've been taking inventory on the things that maybe you're lacking on the things that you need to prepare for a little bit better, and filling in those gaps. Because what we've been through is really just your JAV, right? It's just your second tier team, if you want to call it that. That's what we've been through. It's not that big of a deal. There's really no SHTF involved in what we've been through. For some people, yes, depending on their level of preparedness, this could have been, and maybe is, a life-changing event situation. But for preppers, this should have been just a practice run that allowed you to see where you needed to fill in some gaps here or there. Why am I saying that this was just a practice run? Well, ladies and gentlemen, take a look around. It's a beautiful day, by the way. Look at these trees. Beautiful. Take a look around. Take a look around what's happening in the nation. Do you really think that all the jobs that were lost are all coming back? Do you really think that unemployment is going to spring right back up as soon as they, quote unquote, open up the country or open up the states? They're not going to all come back. This is a systematic dismantling of the middle class. This is what I think it is, personally, all right? That's my opinion. A systematic and slow progression of dismantling the middle class, so that in the end, you can have a tier of people that are at the top, and then that you can have another tier that is at the bottom, at the bequest of those on the top. And the scariest part about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that in the middle, there is going to be what already exists, which is a police state that will try to enforce the will of those that are at the top onto those that are at the bottom. So what can you do? Prepare. It doesn't matter what you're prepping for: economic collapse, hurricane, tornado, earthquake. It doesn't matter. Prepare. Because in every kind of preparedness situation, you always need water, you always need food, you always need shelter. You need all of those things. So get the basics. Oops, sorry about that, man. Bumpy roads. So get your basics covered for an extended amount of time. And then after that, you can start dialing in your preps to a certain situation or different situations, right? So just make sure that you start your prepping with the basics. And this is if you're not prepped already, if you're not a prepper, start with the basics. And obviously, I'm not going to go through all of what all the basics are. You can take a look at some of my old videos where I show my early payday preps that shows you how to prep on the cheap, and then how it goes up from there. But get your basics covered, and once your basics are covered, you can start specializing on different type of scenarios. It's like a doctor, right? A doctor goes to, or a medical student, they go to medical school and they become a doctor. First, they had to become a doctor. First, they had to go to school for that. And then they decided to go ahead and see what they had to specialize for. You know, I could be wrong in the process by which a doctor becomes a doctor and then specializes, but you get what I mean. First, you have to get your basics down. First, you have to go to college, right? Complete your general education classes. And then after that, you get to go ahead and say, okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get a degree in business, get a degree in science, get a degree in pharmacy, whatever, right? But getting your basics down is the most important part. And then you get to specialize. So for those of you that haven't started prepping, that were not prepped through this crisis that we're going through, it's not too late. We still have time. But the thing is that time is running short, all right? I think that we still have another year or two before things get really, really bad. But the problem is that between now and then, what's going to happen is that prices are going to keep going up, and your pay, the pay that you earn, is going to not keep up with inflation. So it's going to become more and more expensive for you to be able to prep like you can now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it good for today. I hope you guys got something out of this. Leave in the comments, what things have you learned from this crisis? What have you learned from what's just happened to us as a nation and or within your state? What can you be better at? And what do you recommend for the new prepper? Okay? What do you recommend for the new prepper? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm headed off to work here in about another minute or two. I got to go get my coffee. So having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I am out.